Most people see Tunbridge Wells and think of a spa town, commons, woodland walks. But hidden across this landscape is something much older. A chain of sandstone ridges, laid down around 100 million years ago, when this part of England was a vast river delta, from Wellington Rocks to Toad Rock, Eridge, High Rocks, and Harrison's. These are 5 different places, but one ancient story. This is the sandstone world of the High Weald. These rocks on Tunbridge Wells Common are known as Wellington Rocks, not deep in the countryside, not hidden away, but right on the edge of the old spa town. The sandstone here was laid down around 100 million years ago, when this whole landscape was a vast river delta. Then came time, pressure, uplift, wind, rain, frost, slowly shaping the rock into ledges, cracks and weathered outcrops rising from the heath. By the 19th century, these rocks had become part of the Tunbridge Wells story. Visitors came out from the town, walking the common for air, views and curiosity. The name Wellington Rocks came into use in that Victorian world, linked to the nearby Wellington Hotel. So this is where the story begins. Ancient sandstone, already woven into everyday life. A short walk from Wellington Rocks, the sandstone changes shape. This is Toad Rock on Rusthall Common, one of the most famous rocks in the area, and one of the strangest. The stone here was laid down around 130 million years ago as sand in a vast freshwater landscape, long before towns, roads, or borders. Then, over immense stretches of time, wind, frost, and erosion cut the rock into this perched form. By the early 19th century, people were already treating it as a local curiosity. Some thought it looked deliberate. Others saw something ancient in it, almost carved. It became one of the best-known landmarks on the common. And just beyond it, the wider sandstone world opens out. Bull's Hollow, old quarry faces, and the ridges hidden in the trees. So Toad Rock is more than one famous shape. It's the point where geology, folklore, and local history all meet in the same landscape. Now the landscape changes again. This is Eridge Rocks, just inside the East Sussex border. The same ancient sandstone, but in a very different setting. Here the rock rises through woodland and heath as towers, gullies, and narrow passages. It was laid down around 100 million years ago, when this part of southern England was a vast river delta. Then, over immense stretches of time, wind, rain, and frost cut into the stone, opening cracks, shaping faces, and leaving these broken sandstone walls hidden among the trees. But Eridge Rocks is more than geology. Today, it's protected as a national nature reserve. That matters because these rocks now support rare mosses, lichens, ferns, and the quiet habitats of the High Weald. So if Wellington and Rusthall showed sandstone beside the town, Eridge shows it returning to nature, ancient stone, weathered by time, and now guarded by woodland. This is High Rocks, not just the biggest sandstone site in the area, but the one people tried hardest to explain. These cliffs and passages were laid down around 100 million years ago, then split open by time, weather, and frost into a maze of walls, cracks, and gullies. But what makes High Rocks different is what people left behind. Not just names scratched in the stone, but formal inscriptions, poems, moral warnings. Attempts to explain these natural wonders before modern geology could. One carving challenges the unbeliever, telling them to look at the rocks and doubt their disbelief. So this place is more than geology. It's a record of how people once saw the natural world. Today, High Rocks is no longer open in that old freeway. It's a managed private site now. Part monument, part visitor attraction, part wedding venue, sometimes open to the public, sometimes closed. And that tension is part of its story too. Ancient stone, Victorian wonder, modern venue, still standing, while every generation finds a new use for it. This is Harrison's Rocks, a long sandstone ridge hidden in woodland near Groombridge, and one of the most important crags in the whole southern sandstone scene. Harrison's is the largest of the local outcrops, with roughly 700 metres of ridge and more than 380 climbs. The rock here is ancient, part of the sandstone laid down around 130 million years ago, then slowly opened by weather, frost, and time into cracks, walls, and narrow faces. But Harrison's is not just a place to look at, it's a place still being used. Because the sandstone is so soft. Climbing here follows strict rules. No leader-placed gear in the cracks. No casual damage, mostly top roping only. Because one bad decision can scar the rock for years. That's what makes Harrison's different. Not a monument, not a managed attraction, but a living ridge, owned and cared for by climbers, where ancient stone still shapes what people can do today. The BMC has owned Harrison's since 2009 and manages it for climbers and the public. 5 rock sites, but really one story. From the Common to Rusthall to Eridge, High Rocks and Harrison's. All of them are part of the same ancient sandstone landscape running through the High Weald. A landscape laid down in the Early Cretaceous, then opened, weathered, and reshaped over immense stretches of time. Each place tells it differently. Wellington Rocks, woven into the life of the town. Toad Rock, shaped into folklore. Eridge, returned to quiet woodland and reserve. High Rocks, turned into spectacle, inscription, and memory. And Harrison's, still being used today, where ancient stone continues to shape human activity. Same rock, different histories, one hidden sandstone world, beneath Kent and Sussex.